So you can probably see behind me there's lots of quite tall grasses, and it's quite green here at the moment, and that's because we're only about a month into the dry season. The last rain here was on the 12th of October, and that's it. There won't be any more rain in this country now for several months. So over the next few months, a lot of this foliage will die down, and if you're planning on coming to the Gambia, I'd suggest probably December or maybe January. It's perhaps the ideal month to come, when it's a little bit easier to see things than it is at the moment, but that hasn't spoiled my enjoyment or the success of the trip. And even though it's very early in the morning here at the moment, it's just after 7 a.m, there's still a lot of birds out and about. I'm just looking now and seeing pied crows, hooded vultures, and the yellow-billed kites are already up and about in the sky. And around me I can hear the weaver birds and lots of other little birds. So this has been a very successful little patch of territory for me, literally just a few minutes walk from the hotel, where I've seen a lot of species and been able to get up really quite close to a lot of them. So the places that I've been and the species that I've managed to photograph while I've been here, I think the two most successful places have been the Abuko Nature Reserve, which I'll do a separate little video diary about and show you some of the pictures that I took there. I've taken 2 trips there this week, and it's an amazing little slice of primeval West African forest. They call it forest, I call it jungle, but it's in an area that's been built up quite largely. This coastal area is quite heavily populated, and most of the traditional forests have gone, but a few nature reserves have been saved, and Abuko is probably the best slice of intact forest around. It's not particularly big, but once you're in there it feels huge, and like you could easily get lost in there for a week. So that has been a big success, including some of my favourite moments. Probably my favourite moment was seeing a giant kingfisher for the first time, which is not like the kingfishers that we find in Europe. It's a bird that's almost the size of a small heron, and the first time I saw it in flight I literally was stunned and couldn't say anything for about 2 minutes, just had to stand there and watch this incredible bird flying around this forest pool. So I'll show you some pictures of that, and also the other place that's been very successful for me is actually out on the Gambia River itself. Surrounding the main river that runs the length of the country is a whole series of wetlands, and I went to a place called the Tanbi Wetland Complex, which is accessed from a place called Lamin Lodge, which is a small sort of fishing area, and you can take boat trips from there. And I went out among the mangrove swamps and saw a great many wading birds there, lots of herons, more kingfishers, and I was lucky to have some really good guides who've helped me a great deal. So all in all, it's been a huge success from the point of view of some of the locations that I've chosen. Some have not been so good. Yesterday I went to a place called Brufut Woods, which is a local reserve. Very, very nice, but I was hoping to see some of the African owl species, but unfortunately they eluded me, they weren't around. So that's always the way with certain trips. You go with the intention of seeing certain things. You can't necessarily spend the same amount of time in each place as you would when you're working local to home. So it's been a bit hit and miss, but it just gives an opportunity to come back again and try and do some of these things better next time. But from a practical point of view, the Gambia is a really, really good location for nature photography. As I say, there are quite a number of reserves that are around and are easily accessible. Transport is good. I've used local taxis to get around to most places. I felt entirely safe while I've been here. You know, even in remote places, and being on my own on some of them, I haven't felt in any way threatened or hassled. This is undoubtedly one of the safest countries in Africa. So from that point of view, from accessibility and transport and just being able to get to where you want to get to, the Gambia has a great deal to offer. So I'd recommend it highly if you want to come and have a visit where you maybe only have a week to go somewhere. The Gambia is somewhere where you can achieve an awful lot in a relatively short space of time. So there have been a lot of places that I visited, and I've managed to get some mammal pictures, not very many. This part of Africa doesn't have the big savanna areas, so you won't find lions or elephants or the big game here. But they do have a lot of reptiles. I've taken some quite nice pictures of a couple of species of monkey, but what there has been is many species of bird. And I don't have a count at the moment for how many species I've seen, but it's certainly in excess of 100, and probably in excess of 50 that I've managed to get decent photographs of, not just record shots, but fairly decent photos of. So all in all, I think it's been a really successful trip, and in the next episode I'll be showing you some of the pictures I've taken, some of the video that I've taken here, and hopefully tell you the story of the Gambia in a little bit more detail. But until then, I'll see you later.